Well, the thought is that taking supplements prevents the decline in skin content by giving your body extra amounts to incorporate into the skin. You lose 1% of collagen per year after the age of 30 roughly, and here's a 5% increase in elasticity and firmness. Is it worth it for you? And what does the science say most importantly? What works and how you should use it for maximal benefits, if at all? Okay, so there are two situations my patients and probably you present with. Number one, you look in the mirror and you see fine lines, lines that were not there before. They were not there 1 to 2 days ago. Okay, I want to be very clear what we're talking about today. Look around the eyes here. Look at these fine lines up around the eyes. This is one example, even down around the mouth. Let me remove those markings so you can see. They're here, but they're not in this picture. This on the left is exactly what people are going to come into my clinic and want Botox, lasers, I'm handwriting here, and things that cost $1,000 plus. Big mistake, especially today, as you'll find out in this video. Before we go to number two, I had a 62-year-old patient come in this week and said, will this work for me? Well, the study I'll show you today, the age range was 35 to 75. A lot of times people over the age of 50 think, well, will it really work for me? Don't think chronological age, think skin age. But yes, this study went up to 75-year-olds. Or number two, they gradually crept up on you until you say, I need to do something. You know you want something natural because 94% of patients want natural. That's the stat. And by now, you know you need to address it internally and externally. But does hyaluronic acid really work as a supplement, as a topical? And I'm going to talk about eyes for dry eye today as well. You see, you may not know it, but a lot of eye drops actually have hyaluronic acid in them. There are small, medium, and large chains. You need to know exactly which one to take. So I just finished researching hyaluronic acid for my new ElectroGlow product, and I thought, let me share some of my thoughts on this with you, what I've learned to see, is it worth it for you? You see, the body naturally produces hyaluronic acid, which helps lubricate our tissues. It plays a role in skin health and wound healing. Studying wound healing is really important. That gives us an idea of its true effect. And here's the kicker. Bone strength. Not many people think about hyaluronic acid and bones, but yep, remember, bone is what makes you look young versus old. Don't ever forget about bone, especially women out there think estrogen loss and measure bone and bone loss with DEXA scans. Hyaluronic acid is a clear, gooey substance, and it's naturally produced by your body. Just like the hyaluronic acid fillers, like you see here, I'm wasting this one here. So this is, we're using Restylane Lift. You can see it's a bit of a thicker product. Here's 1 ml. This is a tablespoon, so you can see it. They're clear and gooey. Same thing as in your body. So how do you get it in a supplement form? Well, you'll see it in pills and in powders. Let me give you a spoiler alert here. It works much better in the powder form from my testing. In fact, if you're using some type of a powder supplement now, check and see if it doesn't already have hyaluronic acid in it. Its main function is to retain water, keep your tissues lubricated and moist. But what about supplements? Well, the thought is that taking hyaluronic acid supplements prevents the decline in skin content by giving your body extra amounts to incorporate into the skin. And could it possibly act as a signaler like collagen peptides do in collagen powders? Well, let's look at this 2014 study. Doses, so here's your dose, this is key, of 120 to 240 milligrams per day for at least 1 month have been shown to significantly increase skin moisture, reduce dry skin in adults. Look at this. It's a randomized, double-blinded, placebo-controlled trial. It was a study that found that ingested hyaluronic acid increased moisture and improved treatment outcomes for patients with dry skin. That's almost all of us, by the way. I see it in my clinic in 3D imaging when I measure my patients. So keep that dose in mind. 240 and 120 milligrams per day revealed that the two doses had equivalent effects on the skin. Check your supplement, see what you're getting now. What dose do I take? 50 milligrams a day with my Electroglow, but I take it every day and understand it's a powder form with 12 ounces of water. Hyaluronic acid is also reported to be absorbed in the body and distributed in part to your skin. It's not just in your skin, but in part it goes to your skin. Ingested hyaluronic acid contributes to the increased synthesis of hyaluronic acid and promotes cell proliferation in the fibroblasts. We need to stop here because that's the signaling that I talked about. Just like collagen peptides signal your body when you take them in to build more, hyaluronic acid seems to do the same. Now I mentioned here fibroblasts. Fibroblasts produce what? Collagen and elastin. That's what gives your skin bounce and return to structure and support where you want it to be. These effects show that ingestion of hyaluronic acid moisturizes the skin and is expected to improve the quality of life for people who suffer from dry skin. So hydrated skin reduces the appearance of these wrinkles, and that explains why several studies, there are many studies, showing that supplementing with it can make the skin appear smoother. What's smooth? What's important about smooth? Light reflection. It's all about light reflection, and smooth surfaces reflect light better. That's why lighting plays a big role in your social media. Look here, new insights into skin appearance. We look at this all the time on 3D imaging in my clinic. In young skin, reflection from the skin surface is largely diffuse. And this effect is what contributes to the perception of young skin as what? Soft and firm. That's what we're trying to achieve with very expensive treatments, but you don't need those expensive treatments. Look at this study. 60 subjects. This is a huge one. The data in this and the numbers are huge. 60 subjects showing mild to moderate skin aging signs were enrolled in a double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled trial. That means neither the patient, the person receiving the product, in this case hyaluronic acid, or the investigator knew what they were getting. So this reduces bias. It was a clinical trial to receive, here's the dose here, 200 milligrams per day of hyaluronic acid or placebo, a dummy pill, a sugar pill. And this was for 28 days. Now, I know that's short, 28 days. I know you all want instant. I have instant coming up in a moment. Dermatological parameters were evaluated at day 0 and day 28. Product efficacy, the effectiveness, and tolerance. Tolerance is key because if you don't tolerate it, you get inflammaging, and that's a negative. They were evaluated using self-assessment questionnaires. In addition, hyaluronic acid serum levels were weekly evaluated in a portion of the subjects that were enrolled. That's amazing that they did that. Here it is, results. After only 28 days, subjects in the active arm, those receiving the hyaluronic acid supplement, showed a statistically significant improvement in all evaluated dermatological parameters related to skin aging. Skin became more hydrated, 10.6%, and protected from dehydration. That's key because many of you are exposed to pollutants, and smoky environments and sun, and that leads to dehydration, and this is protective. But look here, wrinkle depth was decreased by 18.8%, so about 20%, and volume by 20%. So definitely less wrinkles to the tune of almost 20%. But look here, increase in elasticity and firmness by 5.1%. Think about that. You lose 1% of collagen per year after the age of 30 roughly, and here's a 5% increase in elasticity and firmness, bounce, return back to where you want your skin, elasticity. Now you're going to say, what about topical? Do they work? There's so many talking heads and influencers that tell you that hyaluronic acid does not work topically. However, hyaluronic acid serums can reduce wrinkles, and here's the kicker, redness. Think rosacea. How many of you have redness and dermatitis? Look at this study. This is a huge important study. 40 females aged 30 to 65 years of age with all skin types, Fitzpatrick skin types 1 to 6, who exhibited photoaging. That's what we all have. That's the number one cause of collagen and elastin loss in aging. Use the hyaluronic acid facial serum twice daily, there's your dose, with sunscreen. The dermatologist investigator evaluated smoothness, plumping, hydration, fine lines and wrinkles, and the global appearance. That's key, the overall look. That's what that means on a 5-point scale. The subjects assess product tolerability in terms of stinging, itchy, and burning. We don't want inflammation. Here it is, corneometry. That's how objectively they assessed the skin. You see, corneometry, it's a method of measuring skin hydration that uses a capacitive sensor. And that measures the skin's electrical capacitance. You'll see, many of you have these. You get them on Amazon and so on. But these are, of course, professional grade. Where you put them on the skin, there's 2 electrodes, and it sends back the level of moisture. We use them in our studies for my skincare all the time. I love them. So they did corneometry at baseline, of course, and then at weeks 2, 4, and 6. They didn't stop there. They also did facial swabbing and photography for a subset of 15 of them. Check out the results. The HA serum demonstrated excellent tolerability and produced an increase in skin hydration as measured by the corneometry. Immediately after application, check out these numbers. 134% increase in skin hydration. That's colossal. Now, it is right after application, so we might expect that. But look at this, with a sustained increase of 55%, another colossal number at week 6. At week 6, there was also improvement in all evaluated attributes, all of them. Smoothness, 64%. Plumping, 60%. Hydration, 63%. Fine lines, 31% we're up to here. Wrinkles, 14%. And overall global assessment, this is one of the keys, is 43%. Looking 43% globally better, that's off the charts. Now, I'm sure you're going to ask, why the haters? Why are some on social media against hyaluronic acid? Facial swabbing confirmed the increase in topical hyaluronic acid at week 6, accounting for the enhanced skin appearance, but there was no statistically significant increase indicating of interleukin 1A, and that indicates product inflammation. So there was no evidence of inflammation. Pretty hard to get those results with no inflammation. So yes, topical hyaluronic acid in a serum formulation works amazingly well, proven by science, but most importantly, I see it in my clinical practice. Now, I had to add this because you guys told me about this. They're called Optase Drops. And on my YouTube community, we were talking eye drops, and I ask questions. I often do polls, which you guys hopefully gain a lot from. But we're talking eye drops and dry eye because 11% of older adults have dry eye because of reduced tear production, or even the fact that the tears evaporate too quickly as we age. They're not young tears like we used to have. And this product, the Optase that you guys told me about, has hyaluronic acid in it. And so I was skeptical, but it's now the only drop pretty much I use for dry eye and just soothing of the eyes. And what you're looking for in these, this is of course the Optase, but you're looking for 0.2 to 0.4% hyaluronic acid. Now, I wanted to see what the study showed. This did work well for me, but what did the data say? Well, there was a meta-analysis. 19 studies, including 2,078 cases in total, were included in the meta-analysis. Eye drops containing hyaluronic acid work significantly better than eye drops that did not contain it. This, of course, is preservative-free. It has a pretty cool pump on it. Maybe you might say a little bit expensive. This is around $25 for 300 drops in total. I'll link it in the more info section below so you get exactly the one that I'm getting and you can check it out. And I don't recommend usually getting things off Amazon, especially medical stuff, skin creams, but this I do get from there and it seems to be pretty good. So I use hyaluronic acid in my practice topically. Of course, you showed you that I use it in my eyes. Of course, orally in liquid form with my ElectroGlow product, which also has vitamin C and zinc, which are needed for, of course, collagen production, and to help with your workouts, taurine, coconut water, Panax ginseng, green tea extract, and bamboo leaf extract, as well as, of course, hydrolyzed keratin for hair and nails, and hyaluronic acid. It's packed. With my patients, of course, I inject it, cross-linked and non-cross-linked, and the results of the study showed pretty dramatic results like we might get with injectable skin boosters. Think things like Sculptra, Sonicos has hyaluronic acid in it, Profilo's hyaluronic acid, Prima is another non-cross-linked hyaluronic acid skin booster. And you can see the results topically are pretty dramatic. You're now going to want to watch this video all about collagen powder as a supplement, one down here on red light, if you want the most natural looking results for your skin and body to keep your skin and body beautiful, healthy, and vibrant.